Will the first shift please pass now?
This is the voice of soccer.
What's the matter, boys? You see, you have no tickets or money. Well, now, 6 of you guys in the car and no money. What are you trying to do, kid the old man? That's that tall one.
These are the wonderful memories of the great class of '69. First, we shall hear from the president of our class in our sophomore year, Chuck Metzger.
Coming to Seaholm from our various junior highs, we all experienced the unifying results of working on our first field day, our class elections, the variety show, and student congress and senate. But we soon learned something more about Seaholm, which I feel is best expressed in a poem by William Carlos Williams entitled Education a Failure. It reads, "The minor stupidities of my world dominate that world, as when with 2 bridges across the river, and one closed for repairs, the other also will be closed by the authorities for painting. But then there is heaven and the ideal state, closed also before the aspiring soul. I had rather watch a cat threading a hedge, with another sitting by, while the bird screams overhead a thrash in the cover of the low branches."
Next, we will hear from Jim Reddig, who was our junior class president.
Hi, teens. As you remember, our junior year was highlighted by its 52 weekends. Well, we started that year with a 2-week vacation due to the teachers' strike. The time we lost then was made up over Christmas and Easter, to the dissatisfaction of almost everyone. A new sport came to Seaholm that fall, as the world's most popular game, soccer, proved a great success under the maple colors. I'm sure no one will forget our 2 candy sales. The first proved to be a dismal failure, as over 12,000 pounds of Sanders candy was ordered, and we only managed to sell less than half of it. But with assistance from Mrs. Schlane, our J-Hot fund was assured by a second, more successful sale of Mr. Michigan candy. A solid program by the Assembly Club helped lift the academic boredom. Many great talents appeared, including Wes Harrison, whose imitation of a creaking door was especially memorable. But without doubt, the greatest moments came when J-Hop began to take shape, and the work of the class proved we could work together creatively and effectively.
The 1968 J-Hop was a sight to behold. Decorated in a gay 90s decor, it featured Tiffany glass in the lobby and a gazebo covered with flowers. The walls were hung with artistic murals, and the ceiling was transformed by hundreds of Italian lights into a star-covered sky. Dance music was provided by Warnie Rule and his orchestra. Our entire junior class had combined to produce one of the greatest J-Hops ever.
Finally, we shall hear from our senior class president, Richie Bowman.
There are many firsts instituted into Seaholm our senior year, and the most important dealt with our senior final exams. Any senior who had a B average in a course was not required to take the final exam. The publication department came out that year with The Experiment. This paper was the first daily high school newspaper in the state, and it provided interesting and informative reading during homeroom. Student Court was the third organization put into effect that year, and although the first year was unproductive, the court has a strong potential for the future. The construction of the library wing was due to be completed in September, but was not finished until late June. We had many extra activities as a senior class. Our 2 movie nights were great successes. Our ice cream party was also a success, and during the rush of our last weeks in high school, it was a relaxing get-together. Everyone will remember our skip day at Metropolitan Beach and the bus rides out and back. Senior dinner and senior swing-out were great and will be a fond memory of our senior year. And who can forget that wonderful day when we all heard,
pardon the interruption, but due to the strike or cessation of duties on the part of the cafeteria workers and the custodians, the school will have to be dismissed at 11:30 today. Thank you.
our constant companions?
I am a big rat. Although you only see me on rare occasions, I'm still here under the halls of Seaholm. The past 3 years here have been most enjoyable, and my fellow rats and I have found it a very pleasing environment. I would like to take this opportunity to express our deep appreciation for all those textbooks, apple cores, and other trash you left that kept us going through those long vacations. Your graduation has brought a tear to our eyes and left us hollow inside. Congratulations, and best wishes to you all.
With that distinctive voice.
This is a course in economics. And there are a certain number of rules and regulations that each and every one of you are expected to follow. Rule number 1, when the bell rings. Secondly, no sitting on the windowsills. Point 3, no gum chewing. And there's still one more point that we don't want overlooked, and that is to say, you are required to keep this room neat, spick and span, like you keep your own bedroom.
We as seniors hosted 5 exchange students, each sponsored by either the American Field Service or Youth for Understanding. They were
Madeleine Hirt from Switzerland,
Abdon Calderon from Ecuador,
Mario Casares from Montevideo, Uruguay,
A. Singhaseni from Thailand,
and Luc Wijfels from Belgium. On behalf of the 5 of us, I would like to express our gratitude to all of you for allowing us to spend a great, unforgettable year with you.
Why don't we do it in the road? Why don't we do it in the road?
Will the following students please report immediately to the attendance office?
Why don't we do it in the road?
Oops, 310. Don't forget those meetings.
No one will be watching us. Why don't we do it in the road?
Field day? What's that? Is the reply of most sophomores when approached on the idea of Seaholm's oldest and greatest tradition. And the class of '69 was certainly no exception. We came in as green as all past sophomore classes, completely unaware of the incomparable day only a few weeks ahead of us. Never having seen that thing called field day, we could only half imagine what it would be like. On the morning of the big day, when all the upperclassmen arrived in decorated cars, down Cranbrook rode the enthusiastic, unaware sophomore class on their green crepe paper-clad bicycles. That first field day is but wonderful memories of all the 69ers working together to produce what we thought was the best showing ever, regardless of what a few silly judges might have decided upon.
After what seemed to have been only a few short weeks, we found ourselves as confident, all-knowing juniors, ready to kill any senior who stepped in our path. That year, we knew all there was to know about that field day deal, or so we thought. We began making elaborate preparations for what was to be the biggest and best banner in Seaholm's history. Everything had to be the best, and it would, no matter what. On that sunny day in October, as we placed our banner next to that ugly red one, there was no doubt in any of our minds who would come out on top this year. Field day went well for us. We didn't do that well in sports events, but we were sure to take a first in every class event. The announcement of the judge's decision meant much heartbreak and many tears for the now not-so-mighty 69ers. But all was not lost. There was always next year.
And indeed, a next year there was. When September rolled around, the senior class was ready for action. Nothing could stop us now. We began making plans, more carefully this time, realizing that the junior class was a strong one. We profited from past mistakes, knowing what and what not to do. After deciding upon the Cossack theme, the committee chairman led the way with careful planning in all departments. Never before had there been such a united effort to bring about victory. Costumes were sewn, cheers written, banner built, marching practiced, and field events sweated out. We were ready. As the first drumbeat began and the united cry of Volnitsa was shouted, we knew that this was finally it. Those other two had been just for practice. The announcement of the judges confirmed our belief that the class of '69 was something to be proud of. After 2 years of defeat, that much longed for and coveted cider barrel was ours.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, our smiling senior class advisor, Mr. Ulrich.
This year, 1968-69, has been an entirely new experience for me, in that I've been working so closely with your class and your officers. And I can say that I have thoroughly enjoyed it, and that you are a great class. Congratulations and best wishes to you all.
Thank you. And finally, the principal of Seaholm High School, Mr. Ross A. Wagner.
Monument in the courtyard of the Air Force Academy at Colorado Springs contains the inscription, "Man's flight through life is sustained by the power of his knowledge." Your flight or journey through life is going to be one of progressive and continuous advancement to higher and more worthwhile achievements to the extent that the knowledge which you acquire has power or strength or authority or influence. Graduation Day reflects one of the great moments of life. It marks the dividing line between hope and destiny, between the dreams of fancy-free fantasy and the realization of the grim realities of adult responsibility. The members of your Seaholm faculty and your Board of Education hope that above all else that your days at Seaholm have been one of builder of character, that it has taught you to be strong enough to know when you are weak, brave enough to face yourself where you are afraid, that it has taught you to be proud and unbending in honest failure, but humble and gentle in success, not to substitute wishes for actions, and not to seek the path of comfort, but to face the stress and spur of difficulty and challenge. Today, as your hopes are high, it marks the fulfillment of the first hurdle to the road to success. For you as youth, as you cross the threshold of adulthood, graduation has become the rallying point to build courage when courage seems to die, and to create hope when hope seems forlorn. A much-quoted statement by the great Winston Churchill is appropriate this time. He said, "This is not the end. It is not even the beginning of the end. It is only the end of the beginning."